Hello everyone and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Rome. Today we're going to be watching our first round 2 match between Tumbles and Legion. We're already a little bit into the game. Tumbles is on Naya counters Aggro. Currently has two of these ever-growing rats, which are some of the more powerful 1-drops in Tumbles' deck. Doesn't have anything to grow them though. However, this brush cover elf is going to do good work against Legion's deck. Legion is playing white-black control, with a focus on, enchantments like Serene Prayer, and generally like slowly draining your opponent out of the game with like stacking effects that drain your opponent's life one at a time. So this matchup could go either way here. Legion, the main thing is that like Legion's wipes and their draining effects can't really, this is where it gets problematic because Avatar of the Natural is just insane on this board. Because what happens is, at the start of combat, you put a counter on Ever-Gnawing Rat. Then you put a counter on Avatar of the Natural. Then you put a counter on the other Ever-Gnawing Rat. Then you put a counter on the Avatar of the Natural. It grows to a 4/5 this turn. Your rats grow to 2/2s. And the interaction between Rat and Avatar means that they just keep growing with each other infinitely. And the problem with this is that now Avatar is going to outgrow Legion's wipes, which is Legion has a -4/-4 wipe, but doesn't have a hard wipe. Oh, and fetches up a Blood River to also give the Avatar haste. So it's going to be swinging in for like a whopping 9 damage here, which will emphatically eat the Serene Prayer. And now Legion is in a position where they need to untap, immediately somehow have the wipe, which I don't think they can do because their wipe is, their wipe Cauldron Schemes is 5 mana unless an opponent lost life this turn, so they can't even wipe. They need like double Pithwilt as removal. Actually, not double Pithwilt doesn't even work because of Brush Cover Elf, so they probably need like single Pithwilt on the Avatar of the Natural into a wipe, is the line that Legion needs here. That, or if they have a land, Anguish Unmaking can take care of the Avatar. But yeah, this is definitely... I think the main thing is Legion has 6 cards in hand, Tumbles has 1. If Legion can answer this Avatar of the Natural, they can get back into the game. If not, it looks dicey. Alternatively, another Serene Prayer, while not ideal, could buy Legion another turn. Okay, we're having a judge call moment because I actually didn't realize this. Tumbles fetched the Blood River off of the Amber Hills. So as we can see, Blood River is a mountain, which Amber Hills does not fetch. So we're going to have a judge call in a moment to resolve this. I think it'll probably be a failure to maintain game state for Legion, and then a game rule violation for Tumbles, and because the turn is already passed, I don't know that we can rewind it. Okay, so we've actually done a full rewind. Tumbles as Amber Hills as we see, untapped, no Blood River fetched, and because of this, the Serene Prayer only gets cut down by half, so it is not actually going to die on Legion's upkeep. Still, I think we're still in a very similar position to what I was talking about before, where Avatar of the Natural runs away with this game emphatically, unless Legion has an answer for it into a wipe next turn. Or, I suppose you could do the reverse. You could, but, actually, no, never mind, you couldn't. Because of what I mentioned before, Legion's wipe costs too much. So, tapping out 4, Reflect on Serenity. This is quite good in some senses. Now that Legion has a Serene Prayer on board, Reflect and Serene Prayer can loop. The problem is, the main thing that the problem is that, you can lock out combat damage steps, by looping Reflect on Serenity plus Serene Prayer, which is quite good. The problem is your opponent can conservatively attack and then make it so that your Serene Prayer, put your Serene Prayer down to 1 counter, have it die, and then Alpha Strike you, especially when their board is growing so large with Avatar and Ever-Gnawing Rat. So this is a decent out for Legion, but they're not quite out of the woods yet, because, Tumbles can just grow out. Okay, so Tumbles untapping, Sacrificial Bull. I mean, it's another threat, but once more, I think you attack with a single rat here to put the Serene Prayer to dying on, no, attacks with both the rats. And the reason I think this is a mistake is now Legion just grabs it back with Reflect, replays it, it's whatever. Oh wait, no, I forgot. Sacrificial Bull can exile cards that are not just that aren't just lands. Never mind. Sacrificial Bull He's actually the insane top deck that Tumbles needed, and perfectly answers the Serene Prayer plus Reflect on Serenity loop. Oh, that's actually the perfect top deck. Without that, Tumbles would have been in a kind of hairy situation with that double ever gnawing rat attack. But yeah, now Legion's back on the hey, you die like next turn train. So yeah, now I think that now they have to have the wipe, and they'll kill everything except Avatar of the Natural. Avatar of the Natural won't have a way to grow, and at that point you just need to wait and top deck removal for the Avatar, and then at that point you probably have Tumbles locked out of this game. But if Legion doesn't have the wipe, this game is entirely in Tumbles' favor. It's the classic aggro thing. You got to force them to have it, and by playing a deck so fast, you're ultimately banking on like this all or nothing game plan. No, and Legion doesn't have anything to play, or at least didn't play it on their turn. They probably have like a Pitwilt or an Anguished Unmaking, but the rat's grown to, the rat's now grown to 4/4s. Avatar grows even larger. Like I think can this be lethal? Because that also buffs up Avatar. So each sack pull, so you have one sack. Yeah, okay, wait, no, you only have one sack pull counter. So that's it's 10. Yeah, that's 10 plus sorry, that's overall 21 damage if I'm tallying this up right. Which would be just above enough to kill Legion here. But Legion's going to tap 3 Pitwilt, Anguished Unmaking to kill the Avatar. Should have done this before, because if they had done this before, the rats would not have grown. 1 second. They missed that Brush Cover Elf exists, so I'm going to have to pause here. Okay, Tumbles remembers in the nick of time. So Brush Cover Elf grows by 1. So now that's still a whopping 13 damage right here. Again, it just comes down to can Legion, because Legion missed their land drop. So the only way they win this is if they have the wipe in hand, and then can top deck a land to be able to actually play it. Well, second Serene Prayer does buy them another turn, I suppose. On end, Tumbles is going to exile Legion's Grave. I don't think it matters since being instants, they aren't recurable by anything in Legion's deck, but better safe than sorry, I suppose. Okay, Tumbles is going to swing out just enough to kill the Serene Prayer. Goes to end. Okay, on end is... on end is going to sack Bull, exile Serene Prayer. So we're back to top deck a land and already have the wipe or lose. It does have the land, there's a swamp, but doesn't have the wipe. And so Legion loses game 1. And I think that was just a case of, again, they're a control deck, but then like, I think it came down to Tumbles top decking that Sacrificial Bull was honestly backbreaking. Like Legion still had like opportunity to stall up until then, but then the Sacrificial Bull just shut down all of their hopes. So yeah, let's look at sideboarding in between games. So on Legion's end, upstage, I don't even know what matchups this would be for, since Legion doesn't have, like, I guess it is kind of good versus creature decks, but it is quite expensive. Left for Carrion, again, if you can get the cripple off, it's a decent creature removal, but otherwise it's really expensive. But I think you prefer it to some of like Leech Seed and I think Essence Dehydration are really bad in this matchup because you need to be playing to the board. So I would say bring in the Left for Carrion and take out all of the Essence Dehydrations. Casimir's ban is actively bad for you, I think, in this matchup. So yeah, let's say take out Essence Dehydration, take out Leech Seed, Flesh to Rot, Left for Carrion, Slafield Workgate. I could even see taking out so that's 9 cards. So you take out 8, and then you take out 1 Propaganda Division. Because you want 3 Slafield Workgate, 3 Flesh to Rot, 3 Left for Carrion, guaranteed. Because Left for Carrion is early removal potentially against Tumbles, because the cripple they can trigger the cripple themselves if they use a fetch land. Flesh to Rot is probably you need more wipes in this matchup. You lose by not having board control. and having it on 4 instead of 5 is huge. Slowfield Workgate generates a huge number of chump blockers. It's hard to tell from just reading it, but when you see it in play, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think even if you're taking out a bunch of enchantments, you're also bringing in like 3 copies of itself, 3 copies of Flesh Rot. I think it'll still be quite strong. Meanwhile, on Tumbles' end, all the way down here, Charming Marauder, I think, does insane work in this matchup because you can take out Reflect on Serenities. Let's see. Disseminate, you don't need because there's no creatures. Helping Hand is... Yeah, I don't think you need anything other than the Charming Marauders. And then you probably take out Evavin Duelist, X3, and then, like, one... what did you take out? I could say, like, one Kati? Maybe, yeah. Or just you bring in 3 Charming Marauders and you just swap out 3 for 3. I could see that being a valid sideboarding plan. Okay, so getting into game 2... Tumble starting off with a turn 1 Primal Ruffian. This is one of the better curve-out cards in the deck. Generally because, it's an Anthem on your 1-drop that also grows into a 2/3. What's not to love? And, okay, Budding Companion. I was going to say it couldn't be Emirabi's Disciple or Avatar of the Natural because otherwise Tumbles would have played those pre-combat to get the buff off of Primal Ruffian getting a counter. Budding Companion is good, but you kind of need a way to turbo it out here. Or maybe not. Like, if Legion doesn't have an early answer, it's still, like, a definite, like, you will lose the game type of threat because it's only answerable by direct removal spells. Okay. Legion looks like did not take out the Leech Seeds. Is going to be playing one right here. This will gain back the 1 life from Primal Ruffian, but again, you really need to be playing to the board here. Tumbles can start outsizing this Leech Seed quite quickly. Though I do find it ironic that you're playing a Leech Seed on someone who just played a Budding Companion. I feel like I should call a flavor judge for that. Okay, there's the Avatar of the Natural. Avatar doesn't have haste. But from the counters being put on Primal Ruffian and Budding Companion, it'll get 2 counters itself. And that'll be a whopping 5 damage for Legion right there. In fact, actually should have been 6 because of Primal Ruffian. Okay, Legion with the Serene Prayer, which is a good stopgap. It turns out gaining 10 versus aggro is quite good. But again, I keep mentioning this, but like you can't really, like, unless Legion like curves perfectly into a Reflect on Certainty here, you don't want cards that don't play to the board, because the more time you leave the counters deck unanswered, the more absurd and unkillable its threats become. Like, Avatar is already outside of wipe range. If you give Budding Companion 2 turns, it'll get out of wipe range. And then you need a bunch of single target removal. And then while you're looping Serene Prayer, Tumbles is just digging in his deck for either a Sackable or a Charming Marauder. Okay, Avatar grows into 6/7 right here. And yeah, so this is emphatically a problem right here. Unless Legion, of course, has the Reflect on Certainty. Can't even play the wipe because Leech Seed only does it on opponent's upkeep. Oh, but has the Flesh to Rot that is good here. Doesn't kill anything, but does shrink Tumbles' damage for a bit. But again, like, now that Tumbles is outside of wipe range, it's like, well, sucks to suck. Unless Legion untaps and has, like, another Flesh, and even then Budding Companion is flipping this turn into an 8/6. So it Tumbles brought in the Rages of the Ravage. Interesting. I don't think the life gain from stuff like Reflect on Certainty is enough to justify this, or like the Leech Seeds and stuff. But it certainly doesn't hurt. Okay, so then swings in, Primal Ruffian buffs the Avatar in this, and we're about to see Budding Companion flip. So even through a Flesh to Rot, this is going to be what? This is a 9, so it goes to 6 damage here, and 2 damage here? No, yeah, 5 damage here. So overall 11 damage at Legion, puts them to dead next turn. And yeah, because Flourishing Companion is a monster, it does untap all your lands. Oh man, Kati Evelyn coming down. Could Tumbles have had lethal there if they'd played Kati main one? Maybe? Because you put two plus. No, okay, it would be one short of lethal. No, no. Yeah, because you put two +1/+1 counters on Primal Ruffian, you put two on Avatar. Because you put a counter on Ruffian, Avatar gets another count. Yeah, I think if Tumbles had played Kadi Evelyn main one, he would have just won that turn, unless I'm mistaking something. Legion tapping. Is this a second flush? It is the second flush to Rod, predicted. So Primal Ruffian eats the big one right there. Now if Legion has the third, that'll be incredibly hilarious and actually will put them back in this game. Because wait, that would be three from no. It actually wouldn't because they wouldn't die because yeah, they die anyways on the backswing. So, and this is a lesson to play to the board in your control deck. Just because you have dirtily value pieces doesn't make you enough of a control deck. And I know that Legion has Pithwilt and Anguished Unmaking, but I think that you should, even in deck building, I think that the stuff like the Leech Seeds are too slow to really see play in MSEM. And you need win cons that are either like generating you card advantage, they're generating you board advantage, or they just kill your opponent dead very quickly. And the Leech Seeds and Essence Dehydrations did neither, unfortunately. And because they were clogging up space that could have been used for, removal or card draw for Legion, it made it difficult for them to like dig for answers or have the relevant answers when they needed them. Especially since, like I mentioned, the more time you give the counters deck to thrive, it's gonna seize on that chance and outgrow any of your answers. But yeah, that was still a good match, and I'm excited to see both of those decks played in the future. And until next time, this is Caillou signing off.